Hi, and welcome to another episode of Amanda TV. I'm Amanda Aksel, and I am here with Chelsea Fine.
Hello.
I am so excited because Chelsea is one of my best friends in the world, and everybody loves her. And when you're done watching this, you will love her too if you don't already. So,
Okay. Setting the bar pretty high.
yes. Well, thank you for joining me today, Chelsea.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. So, in traditional Amanda TV fashion, both of us are drinking something,
Yes, we
right?
are. Oh.
All right, so let's talk about your mug for a second.
So this is what I call my writing mug because this
Mm.
is this is my this is the mug of power. And I know that sounds crazy, but when I am at a hard or a crucial point in a story that I'm writing, or if I'm writing like the very last big scene or something, I have to drink out of this mug. Like it comes into my office with me because it's like all my best ideas, most magical things have happened when I've had this mug with me for the day.
Oh my gosh.
So this mug is really, really special to me. Like it really is. And also, oh man, I'm gonna get emotional. This mug is where this is where my dream of writing kind of began. Oh, that's so weird. I'm so weird.
I
Um,
love it. You
but
saw it here first on Amanda TV.
gosh, I'm
True
sorry.
Confessions with Chelsea Fine.
Unexpected, guys.
No. I had no idea this mug had so much significance about
Yeah,
it. I'm so glad that you brought it on the show today.
I am too. I am too. But
All right, so tell us what you were going to say about your
oh,
journey beginning with.
so I was drinking out of this mug, talking to my sister years ago about about writing a story that that I did eventually write. But I wasn't talking about writing it for people to read. I was just talking about being able to create a story and how empowering that is and how safe that felt and stuff. And I was drinking out of this mug, and my sister was like, "Then you should do it." And I was like, all sassy. I'm like, "Well, then I will." And I did. And I still have this mug, and it's like my superpower.
Oh my gosh. That's
So
so cool.
tell me about your mug,
The
though.
most, well, hang on. Before we get to my mug, let's talk about what's in your mug.
Oh, well, that is very important. Okay. So inside my mug, oh, can you see? It's a cool like pink purple color. This is blueberry tea, and I picked blueberry tea because it's what you always make for me
Aww.
you you make me the best blueberry tea, and it's like so comforting, and it tastes like home, and so yeah, so I chose this blueberry tea today.
That
Share.
is so sweet. Oh my gosh. I love you, Chelsea.
I love you too so much. So what are you drinking?
So I am actually drinking hot cocoa. First
Uh,
time I'm not drinking tea on the show.
mm.
And I actually chose this music mug that I have. It's so
Oh,
cute.
I love
And
that.
it even has like a little eighth note for the handle. And I chose this because Chelsea is passionate about music. And we have this sort of like musical connection. So that's funny. Like, it was
Yeah,
not planned, okay? Like, that's just how we showed up to this interview. We were like, all right, what are you drinking? What are you holding? You know?
right? That
That's so
happens with
funny.
us a lot, though.
It does.
We're like on the same page.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
totally. Totally.
Oh,
Yes. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you write?
Okay. So I am married and I have two kids. My daughter is 14 and my son is 12. And I am a full-time writer, which is such a privilege. I love what I do. I love creating. I love dreaming with people. Um, I just love everything about it. And I have 7 books published. And so I write young adult fiction and new adult fiction and contemporary romance.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I write love stories. That's what I do. I write love stories that are wrapped into whatever genre I'm feeling at the time. Every single one of my stories is just rooted in love. It's all about falling in love and finding love and protecting love and maintaining love.
All the
The
love stuff.
all the loves. Yeah.
Well, I
So
think the audience is gonna love that.
mm,
Is that
maybe.
was that a pun?
Yeah, it was a pun. It's right. It's a
It was
pun.
like a half a pun.
It's almost a pun. Yeah. It's a
Okay.
near.
You know I love puns.
Yeah. I'm bad at puns. That is not a strength of mine. No.
That's okay. You don't need to be. I'm going to work on our pun game. Don't worry.
Yeah, you carry us there.
I will. I totally will. All right. So, okay. So I've known Chelsea for a really long time and we're really good friends. And even though we have so much in common, there are some things we're totally different. And our creative processes are very, very different. And I wanted you to talk a little bit about yours because I find it so fascinating and I wish it were mine. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you create these love stories of yours?
Okay. All right. So I'm weird. And I'm not saying that this is the right way to do anything ever. But so, well, first of all, I believe that all my stories or all of our stories are things that like we get to capture and convey. My belief as far as like what art and creation is very much like not owned by the individual, but owned by the collective. And the individual artist is just the person who's honored enough to, bring it to life in reality, if that makes sense at all. So, so I let my stories come to me. and I obey them is kind of what I do. I give them life in the way that they kind of shape or want to be shaped. So the way my process works is when I'm starting a story, I'm never starting chapter 1 ever. Chapter 1 is usually one of the last chapters I write in a book. I always write whatever the first most intense gripping scene is that pops into my head. So, for instance, I have a young adult fantasy paranormal series called The Archers of Avalon, and I love it. It's 3 books, and it was my baby for a long time. But the very first scene that I wrote for the series is it's chapter 21 in book 1, and it's just this scene in an alleyway with this guy trying to kind of die. It's intense. It's a really intense kind of twisted scene. And it was the very first scene I wrote. None of the other story even existed. I didn't know the characters' names. I didn't know what they were going to do or what their plight was going to be. All I knew is that this handsome male character needs to be in this alley, scared but determined, and he's going to ask someone to kill him. That's all I knew for the story, but I was like, I got to take it. And so that was the first scene I wrote, and it was probably 1,800 words. And then the next scene I wrote was something from book 2. So I don't write my stories in order at all. I write my stories in the order of emotional importance to me.
Wow. Wow. That is so interesting. Because while you're talking, I'm thinking to write out of order scares me. Heather, sorry, I almost called you Heather because Chelsea and I, Heather is our other best friend, okay? Yeah. Heather Hildenbrand, for those of you who don't know. But Chelsea and I just had a conversation about how I like to be organized and in control, and she feels best when things are a little chaotic, which makes sense that you're writing your scenes out of order and not even just out of like chapter order, but out of book order. And I'm chapter 1, page 1, word 1.
You're normal.
It's crazy. But here's what's interesting about that though, for everybody who is watching, is that I would probably venture to say for pretty much all writers, stories don't come in a linear fashion. It doesn't come from start to finish. It's usually you get scenes and emotional moments and things like that completely out of order. The book I'm about to write, I'm getting scenes that I don't even know if they're going to be in the book. And I know you actually write like that too, or you will write scenes that will never see the light of day because you need to know that.
They're almost just as important as the scenes that make it into the book. They tell me the story.
Yeah. But doesn't it seem like a waste to write a scene that's never going to show up? Or do you ever release it as bonus material? That's a good idea. I should do that.
You should release it as bonus material. I have an entire book for my Archers of Avalon series. It's a flashback book. I have an entire book that's not published just because it's a bunch of scenes.
Oh my God. I hope you're ready for your Archers of Avalon fans to be flooding your inbox.
Well, you know what? I do want to publish it someday and maybe soon, but because I have a prequel for that series that I'm writing. I have like a spinoff, and I have that, and so it's like I really should put more stuff out there. But no, it doesn't feel like a waste to me anymore. It did when I was first starting to write, because I was confused by my own process, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I wanted to fit in, but I didn't mean to become like an author. Like, I didn't know I was going to get published or have any kind of success or other author friends. I didn't anticipate that. So when I had the gift of kind of being flooded into this wonderful world of book industries and stuff, I wanted to fit in. And so I wanted to write like everybody else, chapter 1, first sentence. Like, I wanted to be like that. Right. And it's just so unnatural for me, though. It's just so unnatural for me. And so I just had to go with, what came to me, whatever scenes they were. And so at first, I would have to like cut scenes, and it did feel like a waste because it was a lot of time. Writing is so time consuming. It's ridiculous. So at first it did feel like a waste, but honestly, I think specifically for like my character development, I don't know what I'm doing. None of us do. We're like instruments is what we are, creating these stories, and we don't really know what we're doing. We just know what has been done before, and so we're kind of repeating that behavior. Mm-hmm. Like, you kind of just got to go with it, right? Like, we're just putting ourselves out there. And so for me, specifically with character development, I think a lot of like those wasted scenes or the unused bonus material, that's the only way I actually got to know my own story. And those scenes are what make me brave enough to keep the other scenes that actually stay in the book and run with it, I have all these unused scenes, but they tell me that I'm going in the right direction with my story, and they tell me that everything's going to be okay. I just got to trust it, because I also don't plot. That's important. I don't plot any kind of story. You're total pantser. Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know what the term pantser means, it means someone who flies by the seat of their pants. That is definitely Chelsea Fine.
I fly. I definitely do. So I like it, and it's crazy, and it's a whirlwind, and then I get a finished product, and it's great, and I publish it. But yeah, it's kind of really obnoxious to edit. It's just really obnoxious to edit, because it's 1,000 scenes out of order that I have to like go put into place and then write transitions. It's efficient, Amanda. It's not efficient, but it's fulfilling. It's very fulfilling to find artist energy.
It's funny because I love to edit, and Chelsea loves to draft. So we should do something.
We are doing something. Or can we talk? Did we talk about that?
Yeah, we could totally talk about that.
So you and we are writing a TV show together, and it is. I have never ventured out into like screenwriting at all. So you are my guru when it comes to like this stuff. It has been kind of fascinating to work on this project together, because we are so different we're different in our process, but we are so in sync when it comes to storytelling. Oh my God. Girl, there's power when we get together.
I have never come up with the kind of things that I come up with you when we're together creating this story, because it's not like anything else that we have done before, like nothing else that we have done before. And it is like what you were saying, it's kind of like it comes to us. It doesn't come from us, but it comes through us. And so it's almost like the universe is like piecemealing it to us by character, by scene, things that we'll probably never write about that we need to know, and like very intricate storylines, a lot of characters.
There's lots of drama in the background. There's lots of previous stories.
But it's so much fun, and man, we're hoping it'll get greenlit, and then you guys can all enjoy it, because it's going to be amazing.
It's gonna get something. And if it doesn't, we're just going to start our own production company.
That's right. We'll start our own Netflix, and we'll make this happen, okay? Like
we're halfway there right now. This is kind of like Amanda Netflix right here.
Yeah, that's right. It's Amanda TV.
Like, really, that's what you're doing right here. You are creating a path for the future.
That's right. That's right. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yeah, that's cool. And then so okay, so speaking of characters, you mentioned character development a couple times. Of all the characters you've written, who is your favorite and why?
Oh, okay. Oh,
Or characters, like you don't have to pick a favorite. I don't want to be like too stringent.
oh, I have a favorite. I have
Okay.
a
Who is it? I want to know.
I love this question. I love it so much because my characters are like real people to me.
I know.
Tristan Archer, my very favorite character of all time to write. I don't think I will ever write a character that I feel so deeply for ever again in my life. So Tristan Archer is the main male protagonist in my Archers of Avalon series. So, and he was the character in the very first scene I wrote in the alley.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, I'm gonna cry again. Oh my gosh, today. He's also the character that hushes me when I'm trying to kind of plan and typing and I'm in a frenzy and I feel like my story doesn't have direction. Tristan Archer as the character, even if he's not in the book that I'm writing, even if I'm writing like adult romance, like the character Tristan Archer, he'll come and he'll basically he'll just slow me down. He'll just calm me down. Like, you know what you're doing? Quit forcing it. Quit forcing it. It's like I have like a really bizarre kind of special relationship with this fictional character that I created. And I think maybe it's because he was the very first male character that I allowed myself to become while writing. I do it all the time now. No matter what character I'm writing, I try really hard to become that character in the moment because I'm very method.
Yes.
You're totally right.
I am very method. Yeah, we were just talking about how method she is. She's completely immersive in her process. So Tristan is like your spirit animal.
He is like my spirit animal. I love him. So yeah, by far, favorite character to write, favorite character to grow, favorite character to be proud of. Like, I don't care what I produce for the rest of my life. Like, he needed to exist. And I'm honored I got to create him because he's special. But yeah, so he's my favorite. What was the other question? Were there two questions?
Why? But you already explained that.
Okay.
Well, Tristan is a fan favorite, right? So this is not, this is pretty much across the board. Tristan is an amazing character. So if you haven't read her Archers of Avalon series, you have to check it out.
It was so fun to write. Do you ever wish that you could rewrite one of your own books?
Yes, weird? But not for that reason. Not like because of what you're saying.
Not because like you enjoyed it, or you mean rewrite your book?
Yeah, I want to fix them.
Okay, well, me too.
Yes, I would love to go back and I'll read. I read my first book. I shouldn't be saying this on the TV. I'm like, because I'm a better writer at this point. But all authors, ideally become better writers as they continue to, grow their body of work. So, but I love my first book. I'm sure you love your first book, and I really wouldn't change it.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple little small things, but.
Who's your favorite character that you've written?
That I have written?
Yeah.
Oh man, who is my favorite character?
It's hard, huh?
It is really hard.
It's hard.
I would say that my most interesting character is Telly from the Mantis series.
Yeah.
And she's actually loosely based on my best friend Chantel from high school. So
oh, that's really cool.
And so I think, and she's actually, because she's a very exaggerated version of Chantal, and I think because there is that realness to her, every scene she's in, she's very Telly, Telly. She's just 100% Telly, like kind of like in Sex and the City, Carrie's three friends are their archetypes, and they're just 100% them. They always show up like that. And so I think, but she seems to be a fan favorite as well. And she's so easy to write. I think that's why she's my favorite, because she's so easy to write and she's fun. And she's not me. So I don't know how I come up with her material because it's not me. Does that make sense? You know what I'm talking about.
I do. And that is a good question. Like, yeah. Why is it that we can write and really connect with characters that are so different than our actual selves? It's really cool. It's cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, 'cause Tristan's not me. I mean, for so many reasons. But he's very easy for me to write too. Like, he's easy for me. I could write him in anything. Like, I know him that well.
Yeah.
I am him. You know?
No, you become that person.
Really do.
Yeah. Well, for me with Telly, I just hang out with her. She's way cooler than I am. Like, way cooler than I am. Like,
all my characters are cooler than me.
I know, right? Like, we write them because we just want to be surrounded by people who are cooler than us. So we have to make them up, basically.
Create our own cool circle.
Yes. Or we have to have our friends on video chat like we are right now.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. So what are you working on now?
So book-wise, I'm working on several books at the same time.
Typical artist.
I know. So I usually am working on like between 5 and 8 stories at the same time. Oh, because another part of my process is that I don't schedule or plan when I'm going to write the next day. I always wake up and follow whatever I feel. So, and I know immediately when I wake up. Do you know this? Like, when you wake up in the morning, do you know if it's going to be a good writing day or not? No?
I'm not there. I wish. I love that you have that.
I know, it sounds like a weirdo, but it feels real to me. Like, when I wake up in the morning, like I open my eyes, and almost within like 2 minutes, I know if it's a day of creating, or if it's a day of exploration, or if it's a day of inspiration. Like, I always know where my time is best spent, I guess, when I wake up in the morning. But yeah, so I don't ever plan stuff. So I have lots of different books I'm working on because, you know, I don't always feel like working on the same book for 10 days in a row. I do once I get into the book. You know, once you get like halfway through a book, you just want to stay there and just do. But right now I'm kind of like finishing up a lot of little projects. So those projects, I am writing a kind of a Viking fantasy historical series right now, and it's like a little it's like a little epic. It's really challenging for me because writing high fantasy is, I mean, it takes like a real special discipline, and it takes really high levels of concentration because you're keeping track of so many moving pieces. Yes, I know that you know this because you and I deal with this with the TV show, and there are 2 of us to manage all the characters.
You know, it's challenging. I don't know how high fantasy authors do it. Plus, there's world building. Oh my gosh, that's why I only write contemporary. Right.
Language building, like religion, spirituality building, which is why I want to do it. And I think I was just a little arrogant when I first started writing the series because I was like, oh, well, I'm a writer. I could just write whatever I want. And then like I got into it and I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to do some research. It's just... So it's taking a while, but I'm trying to write all 4 books and have them completely finished before I publish any of them. Because I just want people to be able to binge if they want to binge. So
yeah, you don't want to pull a George R. Martin now, do you?
Well, I did that with my Archer series, and it was great. I love messing with people. It's so much fun. But I also love to binge watch things and to binge read and to binge life. Like I like that obsessive, like, just falling in love with something so intensely that it, like, consumes you. So I want to provide that to people. So Viking fantasy series about a girl named King. So I'm excited about that.
I am so excited about this, to read this. Everything that she's told me sounds amazing.
Well, we'll see. But it's a heart.
Amazing.
So yeah, even if it's not amazing, it's definitely healthy for me. Like it's growing me, so it's good. So I'm working on that. I am trying to finish the sequel to Sophie Harder right now. I'm hoping to get that out this year. That book is so heavy and emotional for me because it's so personal that it's just like slow as a turtle when I'm writing. Because when I get to like emotional parts, like when I get like those little emotional walls in the storytelling, I usually love that because you know me, I'm a crier. I love to express. I love emoting. But just because the last like year of my life has kind of been sort of sad and heavy and hard stuff, when I get to those emotional points in the sequel to Sophie and Carter, I step back. You know, I'm just trying to like make sure I don't go too deep and then I don't go too sad. You know, because I want to put the real authentic emotions into the story because these characters are based on me and my husband, right? I want to put the real stuff in there, but I want to put it in there in a healthy way.
Yeah.
And I don't drag all my readers down with it either. So it's coming together. So I have that, the Viking fantasy series. I have the sequel to Sophie and Carter. I have, you know, a few extra books I'm always working on for the Archers of Avalon series. I have like a Western that I started. Did I tell you this? My Western. Like,
No.
yeah, I don't even know. I don't think I'm gonna
like it though.
It's like I'm not even into Westerns and stuff, but I really wanted to write a story about a woman who lives by herself on a big kind of farm, and I don't know.
And you're doing it.
I don't know what I'm writing, guys. I'm writing whatever I feel like writing.
She's writing whatever the universe tells her to write.
I'm writing a TV show with you. That's actually my main writing project that if I could choose what to pour all my time into, it would be the TV show for sure, because it's the most challenging as far as like, okay, we got to do this, we got to do it well, but it's the most invigorating of all my stories I'm working on right now. Like, invigorating, yeah.
It's pure. It is work, but it's most of the time it's pure play. It is just like Play-Doh and sandboxes and all that fun stuff. Yeah.
And the story for the TV show, it takes place right after World War II in Europe, where there's not a lot of like music or dancing or laughter or life. It's, you know, pretty desolate kind of area in France, and it's about a family of musicians who kind of, you know, bond together and kind of bring themselves and others around them back to life and back to color just with their music and with their humanity, and, you know, and with their forgiveness and their grace. And I don't know, it's about family and it's about music and it's about hope. And really, isn't that all that you really need in life?
Yes.
Right.
Oh my gosh, you're making me so excited. I want to like shut this off and okay, we're gonna go work on the show now, you guys.
I know. I can't wait till we have our office together, so we really can do that. Like
I know. Chelsea and I dream of having like a shared office space with IKEA furniture. It's all white and like big windows, and her site is like a little chaotic, and my site is very tidy and organized.
We can put curtains up on my site so we can cover it up when you get stressed out. We'll cover up.
Okay. And there'll be a teepee, right? A meditation teepee.
There's always a teepee.
Yeah, there's going to be a teepee. So actually, Heather and I were at your house like a little over a year ago, and we built a teepee in your backyard. That is legit. That really happened. Yeah, a big one.
30-foot tall teepee with like canvas.
With canvas and like PVC pipe, and you can do it. That's some DIY stuff right there.
It's so fun. It's so fun, and it's a cool structure. It's kind of just a cool structure to have in your yard.
It is really cool.
It's kind of weird, but it's cool.
Oh my gosh. So, okay. So we could just talk forever because we're best buds and we'll just up all the way. But thank you so much for, you know, coming and joining me on the show. So like,
having me.
You know, if anyone wants to follow you or find you or connect with you, like where's the best place to find you?
Well, I'm pretty much everywhere as far as social media goes. I'm most active, though, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, a little bit. So you can look me up on all those things. Chelsea Fine is my name, and my handle is almost always Chelsea Fine or Chelsea Fine Books. Mm-hmm. And
we'll link those below the video, so it'll be easy to find.
Yeah, and I've got a website and stuff like that, too. But mostly I like to get to know people. Oh, can I talk about group? Okay. Facebook, guys. So this is a little bit separate than my book. So for a second, Amanda and I and Heather, we started a Facebook group called the Raw Honeys, and its purpose is to be a gathering place for women to come and feel accepted, to feel like they belong, to make new friends, to heal, to support one another. It's like all good things, light and love and hope and inspiration and just girl talk. And it's wonderful. It's a heart project for the three of us. I know. The Raw Honeys Facebook group is the step one of like a very big, beautiful dream that we are trying to unfold with all of you out there. So if any of you want to join us, come check out the Facebook group and we can be friends.
Yes, we would love to see you guys at the Raw Honeys Facebook group. It is a good time in there. It's very interactive, so you will not regret it.
Good people.
Yes. All right, Chelsea. Well, thank you so much again for joining me today. I'm so happy to have you on my show, and this was so much fun. And it's so funny, like I learned stuff about you, like legitimately learned new things about you during this conversation, even though we know each other super well. So that was really fun for me.
What did you learn? What didn't you know?
All that stuff about like your like Tristan and like your mug, that special mug of yours, and like the story with your sister. Like that's so cool.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to get to learn new things about each other.
It is.
I'm so happy that I got to be here today. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And thank you guys for joining us today on Amanda TV. We'll see you next time. Bye.